All right, we are live. Now, this is Dulo. I'm helping Rich out from letsgowarriors.com. We are preparing for OKC versus Golden State, Summer League, Las Vegas. It's going to be a very exciting matchup. There's some fantastic prospects, young prospects on both sides we're getting ready to see. So I'm particularly looking for a few Warriors prospects, as all of us are as Warriors fans. We're looking for we're looking we're looking to see if Jonathan Kuminga continues his physical play, continues to show the flashes that he'll need to display throughout the season. We're also looking for Moses Moody. He's shown a lot of savvy, and it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to work his way into not just the rotation, but a heavy rotation, or even potentially a starting spot with Clay out and bubble guys like Mike Mulder and Damian Lee. We'll see if his lottery talent can propel him above those guys. If he shows a feel for the game, the ability to defend. And I mean, defend is part of team defense, not really an on-ball kind of guy. What the Warriors need for their system is he needs to be able to switch and stay in front of guys, contest, close out hard, things of that nature, and can just communicate in general. So we'll see how advanced he is these last couple Summer League games. But OKC presents a nice challenge because they've got a ton of fantastic athletes. So they're definitely going to put pressure. They literally have no shooters. So they're going to put a ton of pressure on the rim. So we're going to see some of their young guys. I know a few have been held out, but like Josh Giddey, their first round pick. Well, they had many first round picks because Sam Presti loves first round picks. But their top pick was Josh Giddey. He's going to be out in this upcoming game. And they'll sit their star players, obviously, like Shy. SGA's obviously not going to play. But they've got some young guys like Trey Mann and Theo Maledon, the Frenchman, who can really play and they can really get to the rim. So I really want to see the matchup, the backcourt matchup with Moody at the 2. Well, Peyton, we know what he does, but I want to see a lot of McLaughlin. Hopefully we'll get 22, 24 minutes of McLaughlin. Should really exciting, really exciting. I think OKC is also going to sit Poku. I don't think he's playing in Summer League, but we get to see Jeremiah Robinson Earl, who is a fantastic player at Villanova. I think he was a late first round pick or early second. I don't remember, but I'm actually very excited to see him as a pro. He was a guy that I really liked in the draft. And also they've got a player named Aaron Wiggins as a University of Maryland alumni. I watched him for 3 years, and he's a lot better than he showed in college. He was in a pretty oppressive system under Mark Turgeon, but he can really play. He's a prototypical wing, 6'6", 7-foot wingspan, can destroy you from those corner threes and can put it on the deck a little bit. If you close out, he'll get all the way to the rim. He's actually a pretty good player. So we're excited. It's going to be a very exciting afternoon. And so Rich is in Las Vegas reporting live at the Summer League. So I'm live streaming while he's handling his business, but he's live on site getting ready to watch the game, do the interviews. I mean, he's a credentialed press member, so he's doing all those things right now. And I'm just holding the fort down until he gets back on. We should have the tip off not too soon. I mean, it should be pretty close. The scheduled time is 7:00. Sometimes these games tend to take a little bit before they get going because they're sharing. For those who don't know, Summer League is broken into 2 courts. So there are 2 different places in Las Vegas. So if one game runs long, obviously the next game can't start until that one is finished. As the last Summer League game, that actually happened, where the game ran a little long, and the Warriors game was actually bumped about 26 or 27 minutes back from its scheduled tip-off time, according to ESPN.com. So some of the guys on OKC, I mentioned the guys who I'm looking at: Wiggins, Earl, Maladon, and Trey Mann. Those are the four that I'm focused on for OKC. The four for the Golden State Warriors are Moody, Kuminga, McLaughlin, and also Justinian Jessup. He went 3 for 4 from three in the last game, and just looked a little bit more confident on offensively. So we'll see if that momentum carries over from one game to the next. And he's got to start looking more comfortable if he wants any shot at the big boy roster. Because there's a few routes to success for him. The one might be, obviously play well, get that open roster spot on the Golden State Warriors. Another one could be going back to the NBL and the Golden State Warriors retaining his rights. It's going to be very difficult because of his contract to get him on a G League on like a two-way contract. So it's pretty much ball out, make the roster outright at the expense, obviously, of Mulder or Lee or Peyton, or it's back to the NBL. So we will see. We will see how his we know that he can shoot, but you got to be able to defend. You got to be able to handle. You got to be able to pass. Those last three have been lacking in the first couple games, and shooting the first couple games also. But he did turn it around a little bit in the last game. He hit some contested threes, some step back threes, and that was fantastic for his development. We'll hope to see if that confidence resonates and he's able to show that he can consistently hit shots, because he does have a nice frame. He does have a fantastic jumper, a high release, a quick release. But the other parts of his game, can you stomach the poor parts of his game because his shooting is so fantastic? That's really the question with Justinian Jessup right now. So the length that OKC has on their roster, we're going to see if it's going to bother him. Because one of the guys I mentioned as one of the four from OKC that I'm looking at, Aaron Wiggins, I think Aaron Wiggins is going to have him most of the game, and that he is a tough he's an NBA level defender. Aaron Wiggins can really defend. So I actually look forward to seeing if Jessup is up to the challenge of the length and the athleticism that OKC has. Hopefully pretty soon we'll get a tip off. Looks like some of the other Summer League games are getting close to the end, which is good. Sooner the better, so we can get our squad in front of our eyes. So far in Summer League, it looks like we've got the Pelicans and Cavaliers at halftime. Pelicans up 37-33. Looks like Evan Mobley for Cleveland has 2 points, 4 points, and 2 assists. Which is, it's tough for big men in Summer League because there's so many guards who come out and want to, we've all watched Kyle Guy. These small guards want to get their shots off, and they often don't dump it into big men, so Mobley's stats are a little down. I expect to see a big explosion from him during the regular season in terms of points, but he has 2 points in the first half of a Summer League game. Minnesota and the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Milwaukee Bucks have completed their Summer League game. Timberwolves won 91-64. Jalen Noel dropped 26 points, 6 boards, 3 assists. Yeah, he's fantastic. I really wish Warriors could could pluck him off of that roster. I really like him. He can really score. He really doesn't get people involved, but he does a lot of what Jordan Poole does for the Warriors. He'll just get you a bucket when you need it. The Miami Heat and Utah Jazz, that game is over also, with the Utah Jazz winning 84-65. Omar Yurtseven from the Miami Heat had a double-double, 16 points, 11 boards, 3 steals. And the leading scorer for the Utah Jazz, the victorious Utah Jazz, was Trent Forrest, 6 assists, 19 points, and 10 rebounds. So Utah's continuing to develop guys out of nowhere. So I'm amazed to see Trent Forrest score 19 points in a summer league game. If you watched his career at Florida State, you probably we'd all be surprised that he can score at all in the NBA. So kudos to the Utah Jazz. We'll see what they do with Eric Pascal now that they have him. They have a good history of developing, older 3, 4, 5-year college players and a lot of tweener players who are these 6'5" to 6'8" guys who kind of play power forward or center kind of game, but they're really undersized. Teach them some crossover skills. So we'll see what they can do with Eric Pascal. So as I mentioned before, Rich is in Cox Pavilion in Las Vegas, Nevada. There's a scheduled 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tip-off. Still hasn't occurred yet, but here we go. Now it's beginning. Excellent. Okay, there's been a tip-off. Okay. Up Justinian just up with the immediate foul. Warriors look like they're going with Salim Magwabe, Justinian Jessup, Kaminga and Moody, Gary Payton as the starters. About a minute and a half in. Thunder have now scored. It's up 2-0. Thunder lead. And there's that man, Aaron Wiggins, who I talked about in pregame, scores driving layup. Golden State responds with a 2-point with the 2-point bucket. Nice jumper, nice Moses Moody shot. Or Kaminga with a 3, with a missed 3. So Rich is back with us. He's, as I said, he's live at the game. He's live at Cox Pavilion in Las Vegas. On my stream, I've got the Golden State Warriors and the OKC Thunder. tied up 4-4 with 7 minutes and 21 seconds to go. So far, we've seen Gary Payton have had a quick little kind of floater shot. As the last bucket scored. Oh, Theo Maledon just hit a three. Step back three. All right. Gary Payton with back-to-back makes. Layup and a dunk on a Kuminga assist. And then he backs it up with an assist to Justinian Jessup for a three. All right. Gary Payton is showing out, looking hungry for that roster spot. Justinian made the three and then came back in the next possession. He turned it over. 5:54 in the first quarter. OKC up 12-9. This is a good challenge for the Golden State Warriors because OKC is very long. They're just a long team. They've got Wiggins is long, Charlie Brown is long, Maledon, Robinson Earl not so much. But they're going to come off the bench with Trey Mann and Josh Hall and some other guys who are also pretty long. And we're going to see how guys shoot with hands in their faces and just how some of these driving lanes close up, which I really want to see with Moody because he seems to be a below the rim type of player. We're in an official timeout right now. So far, the starters have played every minute of all of the 4 minutes that have gone by. Gary Payton leading scorer with 4 points. Justinian Jessup with three. It's the second leading scorer, and Moody with a bucket. Kuminga's 0 for 2, but he does have one assist. For OKC, leading scorer is Theo Maledon, who's 2 for 2 from three, right? From three. So obviously he's got 6 points. Aaron Wiggins with 2, Robinson Earl with 2, and Charlie Brown Jr. with 2. Should be starting the second quarter any moment now. So there are some new guys in the lineup. McLaughlin, Kyle Guy, and Oliver have now entered the game for the Golden State Warriors. And Kyle Guy immediately scores. Oh, Moody with another bucket. Moody's up to 2 for 2 from the field with 2 rebounds. Solid, looking solid so far. me check the. All right, I'm also going to check the live stream to see some of the questions in there. All right. There's some comments about Ben Simmons. So, okay, we can, I guess that's one of the comments that we can chat about that. I don't think it's a realistic trade. There's a question from Abdullah Rashad asking about Josh Giddey. No, Josh Giddey actually in the first summer league game, Josh Giddey hurt his ankle, so he's not going to play. They may shut him down for the rest of summer league. They may end up shutting him down for the rest of summer league. Okay. Got a comment from Josh. He says the game's going to be fun. Kuminga's raw, but flashes too often. Yeah, he does. He's really flashing. It's very exciting. If you're a Warriors fan, you've got to be excited. In my scouting of Kuminga in the G League, he did look extremely raw. But now that the draft has come and gone, the bottom line is this guy has played a year of professional basketball in probably the second best league in the world, because I think the G League is it's a step away from the NBA. There's still a gap between, but I would take I would take some of the G League guys over a lot of the Australian, a lot of the Euro leagues, for sure. So Kuminga's gap is definitely big. He's not ready to be a superstar or anything like that, but as a role player, if you're asking him to do a finite amount of things, such as drive hard to the rim, he should be a fantastic fit. Because how many guys on Golden State's on the Warriors roster can actually get to the rim? If you ask yourself that, you're thinking, yeah, you've got Steph Curry. Okay. And then you think for a while, okay, well maybe Jordan Poole. And then what? That's actually a pretty sad statement. You probably need 4 guys who can get to the rim. And right now they've got an elite one in Steph Curry, and then Jordan Poole's coming on. But the rest of it are guys who have to be totally spoon-fed. You have to play make for them. They're not going to get their own shot in terms of getting all the way to the rim. Wiggins will do it every couple of weeks, but I'm talking about a person who will consistently get to the rim anytime the shot clock is running down. And Kuminga looks like he might be that kind of guy. We've seen him. Did you see how he bullied Scotty Barnes in the last game? That was fantastic. That was a sight for sore eyes. Who was the last big wing that they've had who could just put the ball on the deck and just steamroll through people? I mean, not like obviously KD was great because he would just glide and he was very smooth, but he's not steamrolling guys like Giannis style, like old school Anthony Mason on the Knicks or something like that, or Grandmama Larry Johnson for other people who are old who remember Grandmama from UNLV and the Charlotte Hornets back in the day. So Kuminga looks extremely imposing for an 18-year-old, and he can get to the rim. So I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play, and he's going to bring a skill set that is not really heavily populated on the roster. So Josh also says he wants to see Moody hit a few more corner threes. Absolutely. You and me both. Because the more corner threes he hits, the more he has to move up in the rotation. Just because the layout of the roster, I think he's already in a 10-man rotation. I think he's already in a 10-man rotation. One, because of his talent, and that's a credit to him. But 2, also because of his he plays a position that's pretty bereft of talent. Like we've got Clay at the 2, who hasn't played basketball in 2 years. And then we have fringe NBA G League type guys in Mulder and Damian Lee. So this Mulder's a lottery pick. Remember, a lot of people thought Mulder was going to be the 6th or 7th or 8th pick. That was a lot of the projection. He just slid to 14, but nonetheless, still a lottery pick. And he's actually played pretty well. So could he start if they want to keep Jordan Poole in the 6-man microwave score, Jordan Clarkson, Lou Will type of role? Or if they give him like full on backup point guard duty, obviously you can't. I mean, if he's the backup point guard, then he can't be this. He's not going to be starting. So maybe Mulder plays well enough and hits enough threes and to be an actual starter and earn Steve Kerr's trust. And we know that development is a big theme for the Warriors this year, with the hiring of three new assistants: Atkins, Maha, and the Jokic's old coach. I don't want to butcher his name, but he's got an outstanding reputation for development. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Moody can be that guy. Going to go in, read some more comments. Yeah, it's an interesting comments. So I'm still reading through the chat. Now, another comment on Ben Simmons. That's that Red Eyes Robotics says that Ben Simmons has too many question marks, and he doesn't like the fact that people within the Sixers organization are saying he doesn't have a great work ethic. Yeah, yeah, you're right, man. Because or lady, I don't know if this is a man or woman, but or whatever. No judgment. So I feel like that's a spot on point. We don't know about the work ethic and how is that going to mesh with what we know Warriors culture is, and that's all about work ethic with self-made guys like Draymond, obviously Steph and Clay, who are these later first-round picks who weren't, top 1 or 2 picks. These guys are 7 and 11s, and even guys like Looney, who, I don't know, injury-wise, was almost out of the league, and they're still scrapping, still fighting for NBA careers. The interesting thing now is with these young lottery picks, these guys are they've got to learn the whole work ethic deal because they're these highly privileged top picks like Kuminga at 7. If you looked a year ago, I'm an NBA draft guy, and I thought Kuminga was going to be, before the season started, I thought Kuminga was going to be in Jalen Green's spot where he's probably a top 3 pick. Talent-wise, that's what you're looking at, one of the top 3 players in the draft. But he actually slid on draft night for a few reasons. I don't know if I'm allowed to discuss them, but what I basically heard was his brother was running the program for him, and they didn't want to talk to a few teams. But I don't want to get into it more. But that decision might have helped the Warriors because he slid to them and he's super talented. So now the onus is on the developmental staff. And if he ends up blossoming faster than expected, then you're getting a lot of the stuff that you'd be asking Ben Simmons to do in terms of a powerful driver on the wing who can be a tremendous two-way guy. And I'm willing to say this before Kuminga even plays a game. I guarantee you he's a better three-point shooter than Ben Simmons. Not statistic-wise, but just because he's willing to take a three-point shot, whereas Ben Simmons totally destroys the flow of offense because he refuses to take three-point shots at all. So I don't know how that would work if you're going to keep the core and then try to add Ben Simmons to that. That would be very tough unless Ben Simmons is going to play center. I mean, he is actually bigger than Kevon Looney. So, but I don't that he doesn't strike me as a guy who wants to play center 82 games a year. And then you also run into the multiple problems with Draymond and him, because Draymond is pretty much at this point in his career, a fantastic small ball center. So what are you going to do? And you can hide those kind of guys who can't shoot by just putting the ball in their hand, and both are elite shooters. But what do you do when you have Ben and Draymond at the same time? And I think Draymond is a historically great player, completely underrated by the media. Um, but I just don't know if I want to put a non-shooter next to him who also can't shoot free throws. That is very, very tough. I mean, we're already putting a lot of pressure on Clay to come back and be somehow elite again. And now we're putting even more because we would be knowingly put an offensive liability next to another potential offensive liability and just say, okay, you saw the box and ones that Steph receives. So Clay, you got to bail us out. You got to hit these shots and then get back on the other end and defend point guards or the best wing on the other team. Well, Wiggins will take one of those guys, hopefully. But if he's traded, then it's Ben Simmons. So, yeah, it's just a whole unbalanced court. So I agree with the comment that was there. There's also a comment about Mike Mulder. I'm not sure if Mulder's going to be on the roster. So another comment, see, Ben Simmons would not fit Kerr's system either way. I kind of agree. Yeah. And the de facto point guard is Draymond. I can't see Steve Kerr with his loyalty just taking the ball out of Draymond's hands and giving it to Ben Simmons. And then what do you do offensively with Draymond Green? Or vice versa. Like, what do you do? Schematically, I don't know what you do because there's not the threat of him driving and finishing at the rim. And he's not handling the ball. So there's a free defender whenever those two would be on the court. At least Looney can hang out and he's got his little a little bit of a mid-range game. I don't know what you do with Ben Simmons, quite honestly. Yeah, Clay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. When Ben wouldn't dunk over Young in the playoffs. Yeah. So there's a good comment about Ben Simmons. So, but during the regular season, actually, I think Ben and Draymond could play together. It's when you get to the towards the end of the season when teams start struggling scrapping for those play-in game spots and the playoffs where you start really game planning. And that's when you start hacking Ben Simmons and you start essentially jumping Steph Curry. As soon as he passes half court, you send two after him. And then you just, you could do the old triangle and two or box and one as Toronto loves to do against him, a full-on box and one, because you're just saying, hey, man, I don't respect anybody offensively to be able to hit a deep shot or a mid-range shot. And adding Ben Simmons to your team plays right into that, quite honestly, because unless he does something this summer to change his game, and I know every year we see pictures of him in the gym. I think this year he had one with him and Rondo raining down threes. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be fooled by that. I'm not going to be fooled by that. Those videos of Rondo and Ben Simmons shooting three after three after three, swishing them because we never see it in real games.
Hello, guys. Just wanted to say hi to everybody out there. Can you hear all the background?
Oh, yeah. I hear the music, and because you're live in Vegas, so I can hear all the Vegas noise in the background.
I got the standard background on my roof. I can't figure out how to do it. In person, of course. He's really light on the feet.
It's very difficult to hear you, Rich.
Okay, no worries.
But I will give an update. We are at 8-12 in the second quarter with the Oklahoma City Thunder up 39-27 over the Golden State Warriors. Leading scorers for the Warriors are GP2 with 7, Justinian Jessup with 5, and Jonathan Kuminga with 5. Overall, the Warriors are shooting pretty well. Leading scorers for the OKC Thunder is let's see, Edwards has 11. Theo Maladon still at 6. I think he scored like the first couple points of the game. Hasn't scored since, but he's second leading scorer. And Woolridge has 5. So yeah, about what I expected. But Kuminga's hit is 2 for 4. Moody's 2 for 2. Jessup's 2 for 3, and Peyton is 3 for 3. So they seem to be shooting well. Ja'Cory McLaughlin is struggling from the field, 0 for 4, with a turnover, only one assist and 1 turnover, and he's led the team in assists the last couple games. So that's disappointing outing from him so far. We'll see if he can turn it around. So we've got another comment from Ariana that just says, please no Ben Simmons. Yeah, I kind of agree. But it all depends on what you have to give up. Because if you're thinking about Daryl Morey's, the 76ers GM, his first offer for Simmons was, I believe it was Andrew Wiggins, Wiseman, and the 2 draft picks, 7 and 14. So Wiseman, Kuminga, and then I think he also asked for another future first-round pick. So that's a hell no. We would never do that. But that's the kind of thing that you do. You throw out, you ask for the moon. You ask for the whole piece of the whole cake. And then eventually you'll just get one slice. But in the beginning, it's in this month, it's like, okay, and we're here in, it's August. So I can ask you for 1,000 first-round picks. But as it gets closer to the season, when it's September or October, and the guy doesn't want to come back because apparently he's allegedly not returning calls from work. So the Sixers are trying to call him. Even his own teammates allegedly are calling him, and he refuses to answer. So that value is going to drop. And he's tanking his own value the same way that James Harden was, holed up and in a strip club, refusing to come to work, refusing to play. At the end, I think he got into a fist fight when he did report. And so Houston had to take a pennies on the dollar deal to trade him because he targeted where he wanted to go. And Simmons has said the same thing allegedly also with ESPN, Stephen A. Smith saying that he's okay with playing for a California team. Well, what does that mean? Clippers and Lakers have no assets at this point. They already dumped assets to get AD and Paul George. And Kawhi was free. He came over. But to get PG, so they're done. And then, of course, the last couple nuggets that they had, they traded for Westbrook. So that leaves Golden State and Sacramento. And I have my doubts that Ben Simmons wants to play in Sacramento. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if he doesn't want to play in Philly, then I don't think he's going to want to play in Sacramento. But Sacramento has some interesting trade pieces. They've been trying to give Buddy Hield away to anybody who will take him. They also gave a bunch of money to De'Aaron Fox, and I think that they regret it. And they drafted another point guard, or tiny combo guard, really, this year. But they drafted a real point guard last year in Halliburton, who's probably their best guard. No, not probably. He's definitely their best guard, and he's a real point guard. So I don't know what they do. So maybe Philadelphia wants De'Aaron Fox and some other things. I don't know. Or it could just be the Golden State Warriors. That's the other California team. So I would be willing to part with you're one of the three lottery rookies from last year or this year is gonna be in that. If you were even to think about it, but I would never listen to Daryl Morey and take his first offer of essentially three young prospects plus Wiggins plus a future pick or two. No way. If you're talking Wiggins and one of the three, Moody, Wiseman, Kuminga, I think that's something that I would think about, quite honestly, despite all the flaws that we just talked about. And you would hope that Warriors culture does for Ben Simmons what it did for Andrew Wiggins for two-way Wigs. I mean, I think we all watched the first 6 years of Andrew Wiggins' career. He was, pretty disinterested, always talented, almost always disinterested, and now he's two-way Wig. So we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, rift between Joel and Ben Simmons. Rich wrote that. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting though. But the thing that ticked me off about Ben Simmons was they lost in the obviously when Philly lost in the playoffs. Like a week later, this guy was like, I don't know, not maybe at Wimbledon or some game. He was over in the UK with his girlfriend, who's like a really beautiful lady. Really, I forgot her name. Maya Jama or Yama, or I don't know how to say her name. And I was thinking, like, man, you should be probably like shooting free throws or something. You should be practicing like 3-point shots or free throws. Like you just lost. You just lost. And you're already like on a celeb, or you're like doing the celebrity dating tour. And I was just thinking about, man, if this guy goes to the Warriors, how would that play with guys who are not just driven, but they're like obsessed, like Kobe level obsessed with basketball, like Draymond or Steph Curry, or even Jordan Poole. Like Jordan Poole is a crazy fanatic at working out. I mean, I guess he doesn't post a lot on social media, but everything I've heard is that this guy believes that he can outwork anybody and be the best. And look how his body's developed. Look how his game is developed. That fits right in with Warriors culture. I don't know about Ben Simmons because can anybody out there, watching on the chat, can you tell me if you think Ben Simmons has gotten demonstrably better? I don't know. I mean, obviously he's gotten bigger. When he came in the league when he was 18 or 19, and I think he's 24 now. So yeah, he's gotten physically more mature. But I mean, has his jumper improved? Has his handle improved? I don't know. I can't say. He was good right away. He's still good. But where are the steps in the progression that are the result of years of hard work in the off season? I can't say that I've seen that. And do you want to import that? And do you want to give a king's ransom to a guy who needs the ball in his hands to be effective? And the more he has the ball, the less Draymond is running the offense, and that means also the less Steph is touching the ball too. So it's very interesting. Let's see the comments. We've got comment about rather having Seth. Yeah, we missed Seth shooting. He was a good Seth Curry was a good player for the Warriors, but now he's earned a contract that precludes him from returning, unless a lot of magic actually had to happen to do that. And that's actually one of the things why Wiggins is such a great fit, but I wonder about the long-term viability because if you're paying that much to a really solid player, could you trade and break that contract up and then still kind of recoup some of that, and still paying the luxury tax? But you could probably get two okay players, or you're paying one okay player a great salary, but you could just get two okay players for that salary. And there would be some tricky math, and that Bob Myers is good at because he's a fantastic agent. But yeah, they can't afford anybody right now, particularly after the Oubre fiasco where they didn't find any trades they liked for him, and then let his $14 million slot walk away. So And then they have also the traded player exception that they had for Iguodala, the disabled player exception for Clay, the 9 mil. Oh, they just let those things expire. So yeah, we're strapped for cash as a franchise. But Moody's putting in work. Moody's continued to put in work. I'll give you a game update. So the Warriors are making a bit of a run. They're down 41-44. But Moody's banged 3 3-pointers in a row. So he's got 13 points, 3 boards, only 1 turnover. He's got 3 personal fouls, but in Summer League, you can have like 10, I think, or something. I don't know if you can. I don't think it's 6 fouls, which can tell me if I'm wrong on that. But I thought in Summer League, you got 10 fouls or something like that. Second leading scorer is Gary Payton. He's 4 for 4 from the field, a couple layups and dunks. But has also been active defensively, as he always is. Got 2 steals, 3 assists. So very solid game for Gary Payton. And I expect Gary Payton actually to look good in these games because some of these guys are 18, 19-year-olds. Gary Payton is like 28 or 29. This is like his 6th summer league. So he should be very comfortable in this environment. And it fits score first guards that they fit perfect in summer league. So McLaughlin's hit his last 2 shots. And he's now 2 for 9. Kyle Guy has 2 points. Justinian Jessup has 5 points. So Kuminga's played 8 minutes. He's got 5 points, no rebounds, no steals, no blocks, but also no turnovers. He does have 1 assist. And I'm sure that was a point of emphasis for him coming out of last game because I think he had 6 turnovers. So this game he's no turnovers. So perhaps we're seeing incremental improvement. So we've got a comment. Let's see. Yeah, we've got comment from Andy Kim talking about being an on-ball defender. Yeah, you're right. So Red Eyes Robotics, we're talking about the Ben Simmons saying he hasn't got better. Yeah, that's kind of what the story that my eyes tell me is that I remember seeing him at LSU and I thought, man, if he ever could shoot, this guy would be like not LeBron. He doesn't have that kind of that athleticism that 2003 LeBron had. He has like LeBron's athleticism now at like 30. I was LeBron like 40 years old or something. But still, that jump shot, I don't know what has happened to it. It's actually not even just stayed the same. I think it's actually gotten worse. That's what's shocking to me. So I don't know if that's like, is it something mechanical? Is it psychological? I don't know. But I don't want it anywhere near the Golden State Warriors roster. But honestly, not if we have to give up more than, say, Wiggins and one of the 3 lottery guys. No way. So Bob in the comments says Moody's looking real nice. Yeah, he is. That 3-point shot that he's got is wet. It's wet. It looks like the mechanics are actually sped up. If you watched him at Arkansas last year, he was killing from 3. He was a good shooter. I think I forgot his percentage, probably 36 or 37. But it looked like it took a long time to get that jumper off, but now it looks so smooth. And man, it looks like rookie Klay Thompson. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because it's not fair. It's not fair to compare somebody to like the 2nd or 3rd best shooter of all time. But what I'm saying is that shot looks so pure. I mean, he's 3 for 3 right now, and these aren't shots that are like rattling in. They're like lighting the net on fire. They're just pure swishes. So, man, he's got to play. He's got to play. He's got to be in a rotation, and he's already proven that he can defend. He can defend, and he knows how to use his length. Um, in the summer league game, it seems like every summer league he gets a charge call. Um, so I mean that's a fantastic sign. So I agree with Bob in the comments. Um, Ariana commented that Seth wants to do his own thing. Absolutely. I think yeah, I think he wants to make his own name. As anybody with if you have a sibling who's really good at something, I don't think you want to be in their shadow forever. So Seth did hit some big shots for the Sixers in the playoffs. Uh, so hopefully he continues and does his family proud. And but back to Warriors talk. Kuminga. Okay, so we got another comment that Moody. Now I'm about to do a Kendrick Perkins and call him Moody A Moses or whatever. I'm messing it up. So Moses Moody has a killer instinct. Yeah, he does. Moses Moody is a killer. So Moses Moody, for you guys who don't know, he was on his high school team is like, okay, and I shouldn't even call it a high school. It's such an insult to high school basketball. But his high school team was the most unfair crush team I've ever seen. It was like, I think it was Cade Cunningham. it was Cade Cunningham, Moses Moody. I can't remember who some of the, they had a guy named Jalen Duran who's going to be like a top 5 pick next year, who's basically like a mini Dwight, not mini, he's maybe a bigger Dwight Howard. He is a straight beast. So the 2022 draft, he's going to be a top 5 guy that you see walking on the stage, hugging Adam Silver. But they had like 6 NBA players. It was so obnoxious. And they, of course, won every game. But I tell that story just to say that Moses Moody played a role on that team. Obviously, we know that you guys know Cade Cunningham, first overall pick. Some considered him a generational talent. I don't know. But either way, they already had stars on that team. So he played a role supporting the stars, doing exactly what he's doing now, hustling on defense, using his length, closing out, taking charges. And then offensively, he would park himself at the top of the key or on either of the corners. And just once Cade sucked in the defense or Jalen, he would just bang a 3 right in your face. And I'm like, wow, well, that's supporting kind of role. That's what he would be doing for the Warriors, because guess what? We've already got Steph and Clay, two-way Wiggs. So I think that's he knows how to be a supporting role player. And that's a huge transition in itself, because all these guys, for the most part, have been the man. So when the shot clock's running down, they call for the ball. They, do a little 1-2 dribble between the legs, and they either go to the rim or jack up a shot. That wasn't his role in his, not high school, his prep team. That's a good name for it. Like his prep team, his prep academy. It was not a real like organic high school. It was like a prep team. And that prep team was better than the college team that Cade went to, and the college team that Moses Moody went to at Arkansas. And that team was literally had 6 lottery picks or 6 first round picks, not lottery picks, but 6 NBA first round picks on a high school type of team. So anyway, that story was just to tell you that he knows his role, and he has successfully played on a championship team around superstar players such as Cade Cunningham. Ooh, so Rich is getting spicy in the chat. Rich has compared Moody to Andre Iguodala. I like that. Okay. I actually, yeah. All right. I think stylistically different, because Iggy came in from Arizona as a super athlete, who was just a bricklayer, but he could just get to the rim anytime he wanted to. But yeah, I could see that in terms of intelligence and willingness to be physical. Oh yeah. Okay. Ariana corrected. Yeah. Oh no, I was right. Yeah. 10 fouls in summer league. And yeah, and some players use them all. Like I was watching the Davion Mitchell versus Charlotte game. And they didn't call 10 fouls, obviously, but man, he was all over Book Night. And it looked like on one play he fouled him like literally 10 times. I was thinking, man, that will not work against Dame Lillard. You're not going to get that call where you can just body guys. So yeah, maybe these guys are working to get all their fouls out now because they're definitely going to get called against these rookies, these young guys. They'll definitely get called for fouls when they're in the big boy NBA season. Let's see. So Ariane has a question about do we think Mulder? Let's see. Do you think Mulder will give a two-way? Okay. Oh, basically put GP on a contract and Mulder on a two-way. Yeah, I think so. Because what are Mulder's options? We Mulder was on the Miami Heat's development team. I mean, they already and we played the Heat in the first game, so you saw their new developmental shooter, which is a guy named Max Strauss. So they've already got they're well stocked. I don't know, like, are there other teams that are really gunning for Mulder? And would he rather? I mean, would he rather be out of the league? So yeah, I think he would take a two-way. He certainly is eligible. I think he's only in his third year, so I think he's eligible. I would actually do that. I mean, I'm not a big Peyton fan, but he does have something that no one else on the roster has, and that's on-ball perimeter defense, where he can just focus on a guard and kind of guard him the whole up, full court. Oh, like kind of like how Kai Bowman used to do. If you guys remember Kai Bowman from the year that we shall never speak of, where it was Eric Pascal and Kai Bowman filling the box score up while we lost every game with Stephen Clay and mostly Dre out that year. But he does provide a tenaciousness that we don't have. So I would keep him as a specialist just as a cooler. If you're a coach, you want to have a guard or a wing who's a cooler, who's a guy who you come in, you put him in, and he's just going to cool down a red hot guard. So yeah, I Ariana, you're right. I would go that route. I would waive Mike Mulder, try to get him back on a two-way. If he refuses, okay, well, we drafted a bunch of shooters. I mean, Mike Mulder can't be looking at this game and seeing Mulder hit three after three after three and think that his job is safe. Not when the player is a lottery pick and is just already defensively is way better.
And especially not with Mulder's own reputation.
Right. Well,
You
yeah.
know, we call him garbage time Mulder for a reason sometimes because he'll go 0 for like 5, and then in the last 3 minutes he'll hit like 4 threes.
Oh yeah. I mean, he is the Steph Curry of like junk time. Yeah. I mean, he like literally transformed like a into like when you're down by 15, I don't know if there's a better player in the NBA than Mike Mulder.
The best player to get you to single digits and no further than that.
Yeah, he's like, I will shrink this lead from 26 to 19 real quick. But like, yeah, if the game's close, oh man, those shots are not swishes. They're not even bricks. They're just air balls it's terrible. So, and that's the thing is, unfortunately, because of the short rotation, we had to play him legitimate minutes. Now, hell, he even started a handful of games.
Yep.
But the thing is, he is an NBA player. I don't want to discredit the man, but the thing is, he's a bottom NBA player. So he should be like a 15th, 14th, or 13th man. He should never be in a 12-man or 10-man rotation. Some teams play actually 12, like a 12-man rotation. He should never be there. He should be a very bottom guy on the bench. But unfortunately, we had him in a top 8 rotation and sometimes as a starter. So that was a disgrace. I think they handled it by getting rid of a bunch of coaches and bringing in a new coaching staff. They knew they messed up when it comes to development. So I'm excited to see what Maha brings from Toronto, what Atkinson brings from Brooklyn. Well, not Brooklyn. He was on the Clippers. Brooklyn fired him, and then he went to the Clippers. So yeah, I'm excited to see that. Yeah.
Did you see Kuminga's dunk at the end?
Oh no, I haven't seen it yet on my thread.
It was like with like 2 seconds left on the clock at the end of the half. It's crazy.
So there's a comment from Anano Miss. I think.
Yeah.
So it says his shot is actually worse. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I don't know. It's weird to see some NBA player shots. You know, a lot these shots change, right? You know, you get to see film of a guy in college or in Europe or Australia, whatever. Then they get a personal trainer who changes their shot. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember, Devin Vassell was a prospect that the Warriors really liked, really liked, but they had the second pick. So if they were to trade down, from what I understand, Halliburton and Devin Vassell were two guys that Bob Myers really liked, but they kept the number 2 pick. They couldn't find a good deal, so they just stuck it out and they picked Wiseman. But Devin Vassell was a guy who I think the draft analyst Christine Peak, who's one of my favorites, she is amazing. She's got all the scoops. But she posted a video of Devin Vassell playing, like shooting, and his form was all jacked up. And it was interesting. I think these shot coaches mess around and try to tinker with your shot, but I think it can mentally break a guy. And I think that might have happened with Ben Simmons, where if someone has a funky jumper, you try to tinker with it, and then you might either fix it or you break it 100%. And I think Simmons is completely broken.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason I say that, it's just not to, I don't want to talk bad. I don't want to shit. I don't want to poop on the guy, but I'll say it looks different every time he shoots. He will take long 2-pointers, and every form, it looks different. He never takes threes, so you can't critique that. But those long twos, it looks different. So I'm like, okay, this is a mental thing. And he hasn't suffered a catastrophic elbow, wrist, or shoulder injury. So there's something mental with his shot. And I think it's too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to people trying to, shot doctors and all these kind of guys who try to work on the robotics of your motion and your foot spacing and, everything like that. Look, Draymond's shot has changed. If you watch Draymond's shot in 2014, 2015, 2016, he made it at a higher clip, but he looks totally different now when he shoots. It's like a line drive as opposed to like all the arc is gone and the wrist flexion. He just shot puts it forward. And unfortunately, Josh Giddey got hurt because he has a strange looking jump shot also that actually reminds me of 2020 Draymond. He just shot puts it straight forward. But Jeff, you saw him, you're out in Australia.
Yeah.
And I know that he's not playing in this OKC game tonight, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on Giddey since he's a local product for you out there.
Giddey is, well, when he was in the NBL, he was much more confident, I would say, because it's due to the competition. Although you can see flashes of it when you but in the Summer League games, but sometimes you can see that he gets a bit confused or he hesitates a bit on some plays. And I think that's just something he has to iron out and work through until before the season actually starts or throughout the season, because right now he doesn't look as good as he did last year. But I feel it's just he just needs some acclimatization. I don't know the word.
Close enough.
Yep.
So I've got 8:47 in the third quarter. OKC up 58-51. Moody
Okay,
still the
you're
leading scorer.
15 seconds ahead of me.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm at 8:58. If you want to pause at like 8:30 or something, I'll let you know when I catch up.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. This stoppage. I joined late and I'm happy to look at the box score right now. Moody, Gary Payton, Kuminga. Everyone's shooting well. Jessup shooting decently as well. Hit half of his shot so far. Although when I hopped on, the first thing I saw was a Jessup miss. So hopefully less of that. Oh wow, I forgot about the timing. Just when the play gets back on, just let me know where you've paused at and I'll tell you like when I've caught up.
Okay, let's see. I'm at 8:34 in the third quarter. So there's a comment. Yeah, there's a comment from Bob. He says, "Oh my God, Kuminga with the handles." Yeah, that's been a common theme. Kuminga can handle the ball. He can get his own shot. That was one of the things that I talked about in the pregame is that the Warriors only have 2 guys of their 15 who can get of their roster who can get a shot. And I don't want Steph getting, who can not get a shot, get a shot going all the way to the rim. And every time Steph went all the way to the rim and got knocked down, I was holding my breath because I was afraid he was going to get hurt. So we've got Steph and Jordan Poole. So it looks like Kuminga has the handles and the physicality and clearly the athleticism to get all the way to the rim. It's just a matter of he can shoot free throws. And looks like he'll be able to do that around a 70% clip, which is good enough to be in the rotation and play and give the team something they haven't had. Because he handles well enough. And I think just to explain, last year, a guy like Oubre, he didn't really have great handles. What he had is great athleticism. So Oubre would predetermine if he wanted to go to the rim. He would just put his head down and even if there was a cutter or an open guy, he would take it all the way to the rim. And he had a lot of trouble finishing at the rim, despite the athleticism and wingspan. I think because of the physical way that Kuminga plays, he's going to actually finish better at the rim. Because he is not trying to go around guys. He's trying to go through people. And he can handle. So he's not going to be like just line drive, head to the rim, instant charge factory like Oubre was oftentimes last year. And I see that Rich put in the chat, he's talking about the next iteration of Andre Iguodala, basically the one on the Warriors. So kind of decreased athleticism, but really high IQ. Always made the right pass. Always cut at the right time. Just kind of a basketball savant, basketball genius, whatever you want to call it. I could see that. I was afraid doing draft profiles to comp Moody to Klay Thompson, but I thought he had some of that in his game. And defensively, Klay and Iguodala, this old version of Iguodala that came to the Warriors after the long career in Philly and Denver, who had lost kind of the athleticism and the burst. I thought they were a lot alike. Defensively, like physical. They're pretty long, but they're mainly strong and smart. And that's what I see with Moody. He's got an NBA body right now. Both of the rookies do. They're not like skinny guys that are just going to get pushed around. So I'm very excited for their future. They look very advanced. They don't look like NBA rookies on the court. When I see Scotty Barnes, Rich compared Scotty Barnes to Draymond Green 2.0. Yeah, I had that. I had that comp. I also had a Ben Simmons comp. Some other people, but yeah, I could see that. Scotty Barnes is one of my favorites. When he's, I was hoping upon hope that he would slide somehow, some way to the Warriors, but Yeah, and Scotty Barnes was another one of those guys who was on that fake high school team with Cade and Moses Moody. They were on that same ridiculous team that just blew everybody out because it's like what high school or prep school. A lot of prep schools can get like 2 or 3 NBA guys. A lot of them don't get 7. So that was unfair. That team is like all lottery picks and NBA first round picks. Okay. Just reading through some of these comments. So Rich had a comment about Kuminga's controlled fake. So you know what, Kuminga, actually that is pretty. He does have like actually him and Moody, they both have a nice like kind of pump fake. They actually have some patience to their game. They've got old school pump fakes and things that typically rookies just try to attack the rim because that worked so well for them in high school. And but NBA, the recovery, you get all those stock blocks where a big will let you go by and then he'll just trail you and pin it on the glass, JaVale McGee or Embiid style, or LeBron, I guess, against Iguodala style, where you just let the guy blow by you and then you're just like, all right, I'm gonna pin it on the glass. But yeah, I like the patience both of these guys have. And if an athletic guy like Kuminga can master the pump fakes and that's tough. Like Kawhi shows the ball and you have to react because he can hit a mid-range shot consistently. And then once you're up and you've got your hands up, he'll go right by you, but he's also so damn strong. He'll go right through you also. So I'm hoping upon hope that Kuminga can be some iteration of Kawhi Leonard. But of course, that's the homer in me talking. It's a high variance. We don't know, but we're getting some flashes. So we're hopefully, if it's not Kawhi on the high end, I hope it's also not Jeff Green on the low end. So I hope it's somewhere in the middle, closer to Kawhi for how his career plays out. Okay, so there's Anonymous also asked, well, what are your thoughts on young guys bypassing college right for the G League? So I have thoughts on that. Jeff, do you want to shoot first and tell me your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm with Rich here. Yes, absolutely yes. The less we can get people in the NCAA, the better. I have no sympathy for an institution that exploits its own young talent. So, yeah, bypassing it, going overseas, great ideas. Just nothing could be better. I'd want to see more players with stop doing the traditional pathway through college just because of it, and also because it actually, I would say, like having a bunch of people go to the G League Ignite might actually even be better development for them, just because the level of play is completely different. You're not playing college ball; you're playing basketball against people who want to get into the NBA. They'll be trying to run NBA plays and stuff instead of running iterations of like what Coach K does.
Well, yeah, I agree, because college is definitely not for everyone. And I'm emotionally torn on this because I'm a big University of Maryland College Park fan because I went there. I did my undergrad there, and it's a basketball school. Like actually, I was there when we won the championship in 2002. That's how old I am. Juan Dixon, Steve Blake, who ended up, Lonnie Baxter and Chris Wilcox. All these guys went to the league off of that team. But college also sucks. Like the way that the NCAA is, the way that they pimp out the players, and also these coaches who end up being like little mini dictators.
Yep.
I don't like the control they have over these young men's lives. I really don't like it. Like, I think if you guys have seen any of the Hawks preseason games, one of the guys who I was like, man, this guy's so talented. He could like be a top 3 pick, Jalen Johnson. But I feel like Coach K and them smeared him So it's like, okay, they talk crap about this guy's character, and because I guess he left the team. I guess he got okay. So there's another thing. I guess I can say it now because after the draft, I heard that he had an issue with Matthew Hurt, who was another player on Duke. If you were so Duke had two guys come out this year. Jalen Johnson. Well, they had, Duke has guys come out every year, but they had Matthew Hurt was another player on Duke, and apparently they got into a beef over like playing time or something like that.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson didn't take it well, and his father yanked him out, and he just went and like halfway through the season said, "Screw it, I'm just going to start training for the draft." So that's apparently that happened, and I guess Coach K, I don't know. Through the media, they started saying, "Oh, he quit on the team and everything." But man, he looks great on the Atlanta Hawks Summer League team.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense for up and coming like star to just quit on the team for no reason at all. So.
Yeah, but I think he didn't like how Coach K was treating him. And I think it was basically like Coach K was like benching him for Matthew Hurt, who was a shooting, basically, like a Kelly Olynyk type of dude. And he was like, "I'm a star player, man. Like, why are you treating me like this? Like, this isn't tough love. You're just abusing me, you know?" So he was like, "I'm leaving then." And it hurt him. If Jalen Johnson was a guy who was a clear top 6 or 7 pick before in Wisconsin, as a high school, he went to high school in Wisconsin. And then, he went out to Duke to play his 1 year of college ball. So, these coaches, they can ruin your career. They can, so I don't like that college power that, Coach K and these guys have. I really don't like it. So I like when guys go to the G League for sure. I like when they go overseas. The NBL thing is getting interesting. It's a solid, I think we saw obviously LaMelo and some of these other guys. Yeah, I like it. I like the option. I want to see these guys play against pros, and I want to see them play in a style that fits their actual game. A lot of times a kid wants to go to Duke or North Carolina or UCLA because of the legacy, but they end up playing in a system that is terrible for them.
Yes.
Man. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's how my answer on that.
Well, meanwhile, the game's got them close. 63-64 Warriors down by 1 with 3:55 left in the third. Just as Kuminga makes a twisting layup, reverse layup, to give us the lead. And he's fouled. Wow.
Yeah, Kuminga and Moody are both looking good. This is provided there's no major or actually minor injuries, this is exactly what we wanted to see out of Summer League. I mean, we wanted to see the rookies come in and play well. And this is interesting because, you know what? I don't remember a Summer League where so many lottery picks were playing in Summer League. Usually those guys get put on the shelf. They make an appearance, but I mean, like, I'm talking about the top lottery picks, like these guys who go in the first half, picks like 1 through 7 or whatever. They usually, a lot of times they skip over this, and because this is like more for bottom of the roster, who's going to be on the G League type of things. But this year, most teams are letting their high lottery picks play. I mean, like Houston had all those lottery picks, and they're just in there, Jalen Green, and it's also a little bit dangerous. I mean, the Warriors versus Raptors game, I saw my draft crush, Jalen Suggs, get knocked down like 6 times. And I was so scared for him because I was like, oh, please don't get hurt. Like, don't get hurt in a meaningless game against, like, you're on the court. You both rosters of, say, 30 players. Like, 28 of these dudes are not going to be in the NBA. Like, don't get hurt in not even the preseason, like the Summer League. Don't get hurt here. and he plays so physical. And I worry about that with Kuminga. You saw he hurt his knee. He was limping a little bit in the last game, and I was like,
Yep.
please don't get hurt. I was getting scared. I was like, please don't get hurt, man. Not here. Not here. Please don't get hurt.
Got a few new people in the roster I haven't seen before. Kendall Smith, Elijah Pemberton, and Travis Munnings.
I don't know anything about those guys. Like literally, yeah. I'm still salty over the Sacramento Kings plucking one of our G League guys.
Yep.
The kid from San Diego State.
Yeah.
Because I saw the Summer League roster when it was before it began.
It's like, wait, he's one of ours.
Yeah, it was Jordan Shackle.
Yeah.
I was so pissed off, and then it was like, oh, the Kings have.
Hey man, we even trying to learn his name.
I know, and I was like, I was mainly pissed off because a 6'6" guy who can shoot, who doesn't look like a disaster. He doesn't look like a disaster on defense, whereas like Justinian Jessup is like a 6'6" guy who can shoot. But we've all seen him try to defend. It looks it looks so bad. I'm like, this guy has no future in the NBA. I shouldn't say that. But I athletically,
he needs to work on it. He really needs to work on that.
I don't know if you can work on just being quicker and more alert and stronger, and that's a lot of things to work on, man. I don't know. It may be, but I think he's going back to the NBL for sure.
I think it's good for him if he goes back to the NBL. Much better. Yeah,
and I think I wonder if this. I don't want to do any wild speculation, but I was kind of openly wondering in my own mind if Bob Myers came and or somebody just talked to these guys, Chris Williams maybe, and just said, hey, Shackle and McLaughlin, you young guys, we're not considering any of you guys for a two-way spot even. So, I mean, not even a roster spot or a two-way. So if you can find another team, talk to your agent and see if you can hook up with them. So I think that, I don't know, because that's a common courtesy that does happen. And I wonder why Shackle would leave after having two really good games.
Yeah.
And then he leaves. And remember also Jeff Doughton also bounced too.
Oh,
he
yeah.
went to Orlando. Jeff Doughton, Jeff Doughton sucked the first game. He was terrible. But then he was good the next game. And then he was off to Orlando. So I was wondering, because I'm like, wait, they're both like shooting guards. I wonder if somebody told them, hey, Nico's not coming back, because I'm sure that was on the rocks ever since the Olympics. And then they brought over Chizola, the kid from Florida, the little 5'9" guard from Florida, which is a mind-boggling thing to me. But they brought him on a two-way, and I think that might have been it. Like once they started having those talks, they probably let those other guys just say, "Hey, try to latch on with another team." So that's in my mind's eye. I think that's what happened, because you don't just let a 6'6" sniper go, at least without inviting him to camp, in the regular preseason. Yeah, I was like, oh, now he's Sacramento property, and so that's tough. So let's see. Richard has a comment. He says, "F the NCAA?" ? Yeah, I agree, Rich. Screw those dudes. They've been sucking up money, using kids for so long. Oh, Red Eyes Robotics says Gary Payton, the glove is in the crowd. Gets watching his son. That's always nice to see. One of my favorite all-time NBA players, Gary Payton. Let's see. There's a comment that Kuminga has an attack mentality. Yeah, I do, and I like that, because it's not like stupid attack. It's like he seems to pick his moments. Last year we had two guys who do have attack mentality: Kelly Oubre and Kent Bazemore. Those guys are attackers, but there's like a time and place when you have a structured offense. And Steph Curry. but it's like, oh, Curry's open. Nope. Kent Bazemore is dribbling into a double team to take a wild, leaner left hand shot.
Wow, what a strip!
So I'm actually interested to see if Kent Bazemore is going to play on the Lakers. I'm interested because I think like LeBron will ship you out of town very fast. Steph Curry is like the patient superstar, and LeBron is like the opposite. I mean, look how Dennis Schroeder just is packed his bag so quick.
Yeah.
It was like, you get the hell out of here. I immediately don't like you. Like one of those kind of things. Like
not even like, oh, you know what? You could negotiate or whatever. It's just bye, pull the rug.
Yeah.
If they're willing to offer him like 16 million, yeah, I'd expect them to want him a bit more than just bye.
Yeah. They just were like, we don't want you at any price. Like,
yeah, like, it's not even like, oh, you know what? Like, oh, we'll offer you 8 mil if you want to come back now. You know, we save half our money and we still get the play we want. Nope, bye.
Yeah, I feel like LeBron threw. Who did he throw out this year? KCP, Kuzma,
yep,
Schroeder.
I feel like the thing with LeBron is they go through he goes through his like role players like nothing. Like he'll just like not like him anymore and just bye. Like the entire Lakers young core bye.
Yeah.
That's right. How many trades did he make on the trade deadline on the Cavs was last year as well? He made like 5-6 trades or something. The entire starting line was different. Bye. Yeah. You know, seen this before.
Well, actually, it's interesting. He traded Kevin Love for Andrew Wiggins when he came back. Yeah, that's right.
And then after he got the, I literally just watched an SB Nation like 3-hour documentary on the Cavs, and like they were talking about half-court shot misses. They were talking about how when LeBron came, he basically became the GM, and LeBron doesn't make the moves the front office does for Breeze Basketball Channel. That's a categorical lie.
Yeah, that's the thing is.
There's heavy documentation of LeBron saying who players that he wants, and the front office basically having to say yes.
Well, that's what the
same thing with coaching staff.
Yeah, the famous quote that LeBron said was either you fit in or you fit out.
Yeah.
So like either you play, you do what I want you to do, and that's the thing about Bazemore is he's always like a wild card, as Steve Kerr used to call him, a wild card player. So sometimes he'll have a temporary moment where he thinks he's like the best player in the league and like shoot a wild, crazy shot. And I'm thinking, how's Anthony Davis and LeBron going to think about that? You know, I'm like, they will ship you out, man. They have a history of kicking people out. So
this guy's asking for evidence. I mean, just look at why James Jones and Richard Jefferson were on the 2015 Cavs roster. You know, there's a reason why some people have played with LeBron for 7 years over multiple teams. Like that's just not like that's not random.
Well, I will say this about LeBron. So there is a little bit of deniability in that you can say, okay, it's Rich Paul who's pulling the strings, his agent, his childhood best friend, who's also his agent and also the agent for Anthony Davis and a bunch of other guys. So I guess you could technically say, oh, no, it's Rich Paul who's doing this because remember, Michael Jordan had a stacked NBA because he had David Falk representing him and they would get who they wanted on the Chicago Bulls. And when he represented other clients, he would sign them to max. He would get these max monster deals so they couldn't
Tristan
get other
Thompson,
players.
$21 million.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, LeBron, he knows what he's doing. He is the GM. He's the GM. No one's. You have to like just be.
I honestly wouldn't say that. Like, I mean, it worked for him to get 2 championships. You know,
yeah.
Like it's not necessarily someone getting really offended in chat. You know, because he is the like leader of the system, and in his own way, it works for him. If you count 2 championships in like 6 years working, but you know, I wouldn't say it is, I think you just got to let front office do whatever you want. But if you're LeBron, you do have the power to negotiate who you want to play around because your style of play is dictated by you and not by your coach.
Well, yeah. So the NBA stacked the system in a way where you pay these massive luxury taxes, and you obviously, if you have success and you have these big high salaries on the payroll, one, you're paying massive luxury taxes. And two, if you're successful, you're not getting lottery picks. You're picking 28, 29, 26, whatever your record is. You're probably a 1, 2, or 3 seed in whatever. So you're not getting premium picks. You're getting like Jacob Evans caliber dudes, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, LeBron is like a locust. So he'll go from franchise to franchise, like how locusts go and eat up all the crops in one town and then fly to the next. And that's why Steph is at this disadvantage now, because now they won championships when Steph was on a really shitty contract because he kept having the ankle ligament problem. And then, then Clay got he got the max. Draymond is on the max now. So before, those guys were on like healthy young contracts where you could bring in guys like David West or Andre Iguodala and other guys you could have at like middle class, like middle salaries. Now it's all top heavy. But LeBron doesn't really have to deal with that because he's like, look, I'm only going to be here for a little bit and I'll bring in my stars and we have a 3-year window to win. And then I have to migrate on to the next team. And the owners are okay with it because they don't have to pay a crushing luxury tax.
Yep.
And that's why, and it's like, yeah, so I am pissed off that Lacob is not, firing every bullet in the gun. But I'm also like, yeah, he doesn't want to pay all this luxury tax because his stars have stayed. Like Clay didn't leave, Dre didn't leave. Obviously, Curry is the fulcrum of this whole organization. But LeBron, he just migrates like a little locust, just eating, Cleveland twice, Lakers, Miami. Like, yeah, he's leaving the teams hollowed out so he can go to a team and say, give me every pick you have, all the money you have, I'll get stars in. And then he'll leave after 3 or 4 years and they'll be complete garbage for a while after he leaves because he's depleted all the resources just like locusts do when they go to a new town and eat all the crops. So,
I'm going to cut you off here and address some of the people in our chat. It's not that we don't like people who don't share our same viewpoint. It's just that coming in here saying Warriors suck, and then let me read out some messages. Show me some evidence where he makes any of the moves. When reality is there's the documented evidence of countering that. That's not coming and having a different opinion. That's called coming and talking trash. We don't like trash. Our community we've developed over the last year is one that we love conversation. We want people to come and without their predetermined bias.
Oh yeah, and let me just to be clear, I'm not shitting on LeBron. So I've actually said this many times. LeBron is the best. Okay, so I used to say I'm old. Okay, so I used to say Len Bias is the best player I've ever seen. He played at Maryland, died. He was a Celtics pick. He went to a party and he did some drugs and he died after he got drafted. He's the best player I've ever seen and I said that for 25 years until I saw LeBron James. So I actually think he's as a player, I think he's probably, maybe I shouldn't say best because that's super subjective. What I'll say is he's the most talented player I've ever seen.
I respect him, but I don't like him.
Yeah. So I'm talking about as a GM. So don't take this as I'm disrespecting LeBron or I'm saying, I hate, black people because LeBron's black or something. No, it's nothing like that. What I'm saying is most talented player I've ever seen in 4 decades of watching this game. But what I'm saying is I don't really like hopping from team to team. I'm more a fan of homegrown championships and building and watching Michael Jordan come in the 80s and have to get through the Detroit Pistons with, Rodman and John Sally and Isaiah and Joe Dumars and microwave Vinnie Johnson, to get through them to be a champion. I respect Jordan for that because Jordan wasn't like, man, I'm just going to go to the Bulls, so Larry Bird and Parrish and McHale and all these Hall of Famers can just get me way more rings than I probably deserve. So I don't know. I'm just saying, great player. I'm not talking shit about him at all. I think he's, like I said, I wouldn't say the best player of all time because I still held Kareem as my best, but I'll say he's the most talented player I've ever seen in my life.
We would rather see one who sinks down with the ship and doesn't get a championship than one that jumps ship and gets multiple. And I think that's just a part of like the NBA fan who wants to see like underdogs become victors.
Right. I mean, like what Giannis did this year is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Giannis, I mean, like, if Giannis went to team up with Luka or Steph, and he forced it, and he did a Harden where he just like, I'm not leaving the strip club until you trade me to exactly where I want to go to. Yeah, that would be tough.
I'm gonna gain 20 pounds and then look like a sofa couch.
Yeah,
in some pregame photos.
Exactly.
Unless you trade me.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I'm fit again.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because I mean, he was on the chicken wing diet only to spite his team in Houston, and then immediately stopped when KD came calling. But yeah, I mean, look, Harden also great player, not on LeBron's stratosphere, obviously, but I don't like the jumping for championship kind of locust thing. Like, dude, if you're that guy who you think you are in your mind, you don't need to go and team up with other players and ride their jocks to get a championship. So I know I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to talk bad about LeBron. And I know that LeBron is so great.
You can't fault players. You can't really fault players for just wanting to get the chips.
Yeah,
but like it's a double-edged sword, like, you know.
Yeah, but there's
personally I don't like it, and that's my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. Some championships are worth more than others, though.
Yeah,
that's
and
all.
The thing is,
I will say that some like okay, look, even as Warriors fans, I got to tell you, the first championship the Warriors won is more valuable than the KD championships because I'm like, oh man, we had this. The whole level of competition was crushed. Yeah, because I'm like you listen to the Fitzgerald would be like, KD passes to Iguodala, swings it to Clay, to down to Steph. I'm like, every single player is a fucking all-star. Like, it's like they have 5 dudes. Their closing line, their Hamptons 5 is like 5 dudes who are first ballot Hall of Famers. Well, maybe Iguodala is not a first ballot, but he'll eventually make it because everybody does in the NBA. And I was like, this is not fair.
Really is like, you know, fair. Like, I'd rather it not happen, but if it does happen, like it's basketball, you know, it's business. You want to win, that is the fastest way to win.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but
unless you're LeBron and you orchestrate 74 trades in 10 years, and it would like I wouldn't say it's working.
Yeah. You know? I mean, the whole thing with like, hey, Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, I'm gonna come and ride Dwayne Wade's coattails, and I'm going to bring another all-star and totally destroy the Toronto's franchise. Like, I just didn't respect that. I was like, okay, great. Was it 1 championship, 2 championships, not 3, not 4, not 5. We're going to win all these championships. And I said, yeah, but they're like tainted though. They're not like,
but then he didn't. So,
well, I mean, I remember the famous thing where he said we're gonna win not 1, not 2.
Yeah, exactly.
But
he didn't.
I was like, yeah, but
go ahead, go off.
It just made it cheap to me. Like I was really actively rooting against Kyrie and James Harden and KD this year. I was like, man, I don't want them to win. This is gonna be the cheapest championship ever. Because this is like a fake team. And then they had, you remember Brooklyn had Blake Griffin, who refused to dunk for 2 years.
So people really thought he was getting old.
Yeah, so he
because he was
wanted,
that Oliver.
he wanted Detroit to buy him out. So he stopped dunking in games. And then he immediately somehow regained a 40
First
inch
game
vertical.
back.
A 40, yeah, it's like, okay, so his 40-inch vertical, he just didn't use it for 2 years because he didn't like the situation. And then it was like KD came and got him, and now his 40-inch
Okay, see,
vertical
3
returned.
hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really ticked off when I saw Blake Griffin now dunking all over people again. And I said, okay, so they got Blake Griffin who faked like he couldn't jump, Harden who held himself hostage in a strip club. And yeah, so I think Brooklyn might win this year. Oh, there's a comment about Kareem Skyhook. Yeah, Kareem Skyhook is the most devastating offensive weapon in the history of the NBA. Nobody can replicate it. No, I only see only one guy blocked it, to my knowledge, in his like 20-year career, and that is Wilt Chamberlain, who is the best athlete who has ever played probably any sport ever. Like Wilt Chamberlain was Michael Jordan stretched to 7'1", and he was like an Olympic high jumper, and all these other and he was like, I think he could throw a football like 100 yards like Pat Mahomes. Like, what the hell? He was just a freak. He was
just a freak of nature.
Yeah, he shouldn't have existed. Like, clearly somebody made him in a lab and he got out. And then, and he just, they said that he went to like the Kansas City Chiefs football facility and he was faster than all of the wide receivers they had. And obviously he's like 1.5 foot taller than all of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah. All right. So, but that Skyhook, the way with a 7-foot top guy in Kareem, with the way he shot it so high, it's unbelievable. Like, no one can reproduce that.
It's such a hard shot to do as well.
Yeah, the
because
level of mastery.
You have to have perfect awareness of where the hoop is.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, obviously, like, there's no like when you're thinking, oh, who's the leading scorer in NBA history? You just know. Well, who is the guy who had the most devastating?
Oh, Moody, good defense. Jessup, good block. They kick out for a 3. They miss. Get the rebound. Kuminga with the rebound. Great defensive play there. We're down by 1 with just under 3 minutes. Kuminga to Moody. Moody in the corner. It's short. The thing is, like, if you see someone do a hook shot now, like,
I think
it would end up on a circus shot compilation.
Oh, yeah.
Jessup 3. Yes.
I got to say that I am very proud of my scouting because my guy, Ja'Cory McLaughlin, has been he started off really cold, 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 from 3. And now he's balling. And I've said it before, Kyle Guy and Gary Payton, they're all do a nice thing, but like, there's only one real point guard on this roster. There's only one actual, not a tiny shooting guard or whatever. Like, he's an actual point guard.
Yeah, an old school traditional point guard.
Yeah, yeah. And I really like that, and I respect that. I mean, he's going to get a ton of minutes in the G League. I don't think they're going to sign him to a 2-way because this team is trying to compete for a championship. And they're really already locked into Kenny Atkinson's pet project in Chris Chizola. So, and that makes me furious, but I don't want to comment on it.
I mean, I think Chris Chizola is not going to be that. I think there's promise there. Just because, like, Chris Chizola is one of those, he slows down everything, and then he gets to his spots. And with Kenny, I trust Kenny Atkinson because I remember what he did with Jeremy Lin before Lin got injured in that one season in Brooklyn, and Lin was balling out, like, arguably one of the best moments of his career since insanity.
But Jeremy Lin, okay, so Lin's sanity, Jeremy Lin was a great athlete. Like, holy smokes. Like, he had a first step that was so disgusting. It was like he blows right by you. Back when Melo went out and they just were like, all right, screw it. Jeremy Lin, it's your show. He was blowing by guys left and right. They had no idea how fast he was. I mean, Jeremy, he could shoot enough to keep you honest, but man, when he wanted to get to the rim, he was so unbelievable. It's unfortunate those injuries caught up to him over the years, but I mean, Chizola is not nearly, I think, the athlete, and he's a tiny guy.
No, I'm not gonna say he's gonna be like Jeremy Lin. I'm just saying that like I trust Kenny Atkinson to be making some decisions based off the fact that he supported Jeremy Lin. You know, he supported Jeremy Lin, and that earns my respect. So now I respect his basketball decisions, even though if they may not be right moving forward.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And Atkins, you have to, obviously he's the coach, so you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. And look what he did developing a bunch of guys. So not just Jeremy Lin, you got to remember Spencer Dinwiddie was like a nothing coming out of Colorado. Yeah. Now he's a damn beast. He's a Bitcoin beast. I love him. They had D'Angelo the Snitch Russell from the Lakers, who I thought was on his way out of the NBA after whole Nick Young. Yeah. Who's the Australian rapper girl that he told? And he
Iggy Azalea.
Yes. Yeah. So I thought he was out. And then he developed into like an actually pretty good offensive player. Let's see who else was in Brooklyn, because they had a nice little squad.
Jared Allen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. With the afro. Jared Allen. Yeah, that's
was like the first guy to block LeBron in a dunk, and what?
Yeah, Jared Allen. Yeah, they had a little.
He opened the floodgates. LeBron got like blocked 4 times on dunks that season, and the OKC keeps missing shots with under a minute to go, up 6, 90-84.
Yeah, my feed is a little bit ahead of yours, and it looks like Golden State is. Yeah, they're just killing them. I'm excited. That means something's good's happening, including a Kuminga layup. Okay. Yeah. Actually, the game is almost over for me. But yeah, the Warriors pulled away pretty nicely. Yeah.
Oh, what a closeout. That was great.
Yeah. I like to see the killer, because the killer mentality in the clutch.
It just kicked in.
Yeah. And Moody's got that. Moody has the killer in his veins, man.
Going through the box score, Gary Payton having a game. 4 for 4, 2 from deep, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals.
Yeah, Gary Payton's having a great game. Man.
Oliver's doing really well in the center spot. 13 minutes to play. He has 4 blocks and 4 rebounds. All 10 points.
Yeah.
We're 6 people in double digits.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jessup at 8. Like the amount of like ball movement and like facilitated like shooting, like spread out against the team. Like I think coaching staff is doing a good job.
Absolutely. I wonder if they were going to shut down these guys. There's some more comments I wanted to try to get through. Oh yeah. So Anonymous points out that Hakeem blocked the skyhook once when Kareem was old. Yeah, I mean when he was like just playing because
he wasn't jumping when he did it.
Yeah. You're probably right. I mean, in his prime, Wilt is the only guy I ever saw block it, and I saw him go against Robert Parrish, the Chief, when Robert Parrish was a great athlete, not like old broken down Celtics Robert Parrish on those championship teams. Yeah, like great athlete. Okay, so there's another comment to speaking of hook shots, Moody. Oh yeah, McLaughlin will be a future Warrior. I hope so. He can really play. Like I saw him the last 2 years at UC Santa Barbara, and I was like, you know what? Why is he not in the G League or like he's a pro player? He's showing it now. He's a pro. But the coach knows Chizola, and that can probably help.
Honestly, I think maybe Chizola's just in maybe for half the season if they, just in case. Maybe he gets released. Maybe he gets released or like traded or something mid-season.
Yeah.
Because they're confident enough in like Moody stepping up into that role. It could just be that because it all happened during Summer League instead of like after.
Yeah. I'm excited to see because Summer League actually favors these little shooting guards. So like Gary Payton and Kyle Guy
This is a dunk. Sorry,
Oh no, it's good. And the game.
I saw like one person under the basket. I saw 3 people coming, and I was like, "This is gonna be a highlight for sure."
Yeah, on my TV, the game ended like a minute ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I was behind you, I think, and then I somehow
Skipped
my
ahead.
internet. I'm now ahead. Yeah, so it's over for me.
Yeah, mine just ended now as well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get through some of these comments. So we had let's see. There's another one that talks about Chizola being an insurance policy. Yeah. Bob is commenting on Moody and Kuminga again. Yeah, they are fantastic. Kuminga did go cold towards the end, but McLaughlin and those guys made shots down the stretch, and Moody, of course. I don't think McLaughlin's gonna get. Yeah, he's not definitely. I think he's fighting for a 2-way, but with the Chizola thing, you can't have 2 point guards on 2-ways.
Yeah,
That seems dumb. It seems stupid, right? Like I think it would probably have to be some nondescript big, and actually that big now. That since I've been thinking about the last couple of weeks, since if Marquise Chris doesn't get any offers, he should still be eligible for a 2-way. Is that correct, or is it not? I thought he was under 5 years of service, so he could like get a 2-way.
I don't know if his skipped season counts.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess that would
including that, like this would be his 6th season. Excluding it wouldn't. It would be his 5th.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe the injury does. I wasn't sure, but I was thinking.
Imagine if we can get him that slot though. That would be great.
Oh my god, that would be perfect. I think he's probably. Yeah, if he's
the Jordan Poole Marquise Chris duo back again, I would love that.
Man, yeah, I really love Marquise Chris, the way that he plays in the post, because he can pass. Obviously, he's a rim protector. And vertical threat on the lobs. He can just hang out in the dunker spot. I really like, and I like he does the old school. Who is the Australian guy who used to do the passes between the legs to Steph?
Bogut.
Bogut. Yeah, Bogut used to do the little bunny hop pass between the legs and screen for Steph. And he taught Jordan Bell how to do that really well for a year.
Yeah.
I loved Bogut, man. But Marquise Chris does it too, and I'm like, okay, that is a perfect fit.
We haven't got anyone who's doing that on the roster right now because we had Bogut, then we had Zaza, Jordan Belfort, and Chris. Yeah, they all did that play. You love to see it. Is that to Steph or that to Clay?
Oh, it's to Steph. Yeah, it's the perfect play because you're screening and passing at the same time. Yeah. I love it. And Marquise Chris has that in his bag. So I want to see if it's a shame that he got those injuries. And I know they have to force feed Wiseman to get him up to speed and everything. But I don't trust the big men on the roster because Looney can't be counted on. I know he's only 26, but his hips are like 50.
Yeah, he looks 50.
Exactly. I'm like, that guy. Yeah, I don't trust him to play more than like 15 or 18 minutes a game. And Wiseman, obviously, he should be the starter, but he's going to be injured.
He's not ready yet.
Yeah. And Wiseman, he did get to his credit. He got better right before he got injured, but he was injured the whole year. Okay, so the beginning he had COVID. Yeah, he got COVID. Okay, that can happen to anybody. You got to wash your hands, wear a mask, whatever. But then he came back and he hurt his wrist. Then he came back from the wrist and blew his knee out. He blew it out because he had to have surgery on the MCL.
Yep.
So he's going to be on a minutes restriction next year anyway. And Bielitsa, he wouldn't even play him last year. So I don't know. And I don't think if he's a center. I mean, I don't know. He's a stretch four to me.
He's a stretch four. I don't. Unless they're playing small ball.
Yeah.
We don't have someone who we can just go rely on at the center. should just run pick and rolls.
Yeah.
And
So
set
like,
screens.
yeah, I want Draymond to play the last 6 or 8 minutes of every game at center as a small ball 5, but I don't want Draymond playing massive minutes at the 5, getting all worn down and beat up.
Yeah, like we don't want a point center. We want
Yeah,
a point forward.
exactly. Like, yeah. So, I mean, and yeah, what are you thinking about in terms of a potential death lineup if the Warriors are able to have one this year, since they do have Iguodala back and Clay back, allegedly? You know,
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. That was something I wanted to ask you and Rich once we got on the live stream.
Yeah, I mean, the roster's lacking like a reliable center, and I mean, Marcus Chris would not only is he not fielding that many offers right now, I assume, but I mean, he knows the system and he fits well. Like, why not?
Yeah,
The real question is just why not?
And the thing is, you know what? Marquise Chris has embraced actually being a center, because when he came out of was it University of Washington, I remember it like the pre-draft interviews. This guy was talking about he wanted to be a small forward like KD. I was like, boy, if you don't get your dumbass out of here with that, talking about you're going to be the next KD. I was like, yeah, I think.
I mean,
like
you're built the
4.
same, but you don't play the same.
I was like, yeah, but like,
Nah.
shooting and ball handling, like you're the same height though. I guess you're both like 6'9", 6'10", somewhere in that range. But I was like, I think you're more of a center. And he did not accept that until the Phoenix Suns basically got rid of him. And then it was like, okay, you're out of the league on a two-way with the Warriors, fighting for your life, fighting for your professional life, you know? Yeah. So now, and then he's like, I'm a center, even though undersized. And I'm like, good. When you embrace the role and you're psychologically like ready for the challenge, okay, you can work with that, because now you're gone through the pain. So now you can get some professional growth.
Yep.
So it was unfortunate that he hurt himself last year. So I'm hoping they can run it back and bring him on. And between the 3 injury-prone guys of Chris, Looney, and Wiseman, they can get one competent center out of that whole batch.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping. A little Looney to close games, you know, Wiseman to be on the second team, and then sprinkle in some Marquise Chris here and there. I think that's a good enough rotation. I don't want them to give the two-way to somebody like Salim Magwabe, who's the big that's on this summer league.
He's also not like reliable enough, I think.
Man, I mean, I don't want to say.
Yeah,
he's just not. He's
not there yet.
Yeah. I'm like,
especially like he's a young center. They need time.
Yeah, and this, I think, is this his second or third year in the G League? Probably second. Or I guess it'll be his second year.
Yeah,
he might have was a rookie. I thought it was 19 and 20. He was in the G League, maybe. I don't know, but either way, I don't want him on an NBA on a two-way, because I'm like, come on, he's another like undersized guy, but without the skills of Marquise Chris to like handle or shoot or pass. So, what are we doing?
Yeah. Anyways, we got to end the Zoom soon because Rich has got stuff to do because he's in charge. But game summary is that everyone played well, and a lot of our up and coming players look really good. And I mean, that's nice to see. It's like really, really nice to see.